folks. We did a Muslim debate one time here. Two Muslims are sitting on this side, two Christians sitting on this side. They're going back and forth. It got heated. And it was a brother Rashid was here, another fellow named Daniel, Jacob, and we had one other gentleman, Robert Spencer, that was here as well. And it went back and forth. Very heated. It was respectful, but it was very heated. Back and forth, back and forth. And then we had Sam Shamoun on, and he did a great job. And then they came back. So for you, how often do you guys debate Muslims? How often are you, is it a regular thing that you go in and debating other Muslims?
I try. I try to debate Muslims. They never want to talk. All they want to do is violence. All they want to do. I was in the street one time in the city in Sydney. I was in the street and me and Millie were walking and I happened to bump into a guy and I ended up talking to him about Jesus. And the guy's like to me, why should I follow Jesus, not Muhammad? And not Allah, not Islam. What makes you think Christianity is a religion? And I started to explain to him the difference between Christianity, Islam, Jesus versus Muhammad. And a Muslim security guard across the street comes literally, Millie was there. He comes staunching me, angry, crossing the street, leaving his shift, coming, and he's angry. He's like, what did you say about my Prophet Muhammad? What did you talk about my Prophet? And I'm like to him, relax. Can we talk? Can we debate? Can we use some intellect here? Can you use your mouth instead of your fist and sword? And he doesn't want to talk. So in Australia, I've tried to debate these guys. I've tried to talk to them. They don't want to. And the reason is, there's no intellect behind it. We can fry a Muslim, like we deep fry him intellectually. The fact that they believe in underage marriage, the fact that they believe a man can beat his wife up, the fact that they believe, that Muhammad flew on a donkey to Jerusalem. This is just weird stuff. Historically, it's stupid. Muhammad saw an angel and he thought he was the. It doesn't make sense. The whole Islam thing doesn't make sense. So they don't want to debate, and that's the thing about Islam.
So these are. This is a recent episode of PBD podcast, Patrick Bet-David's podcast. And these are a couple of Australian pastors. They live in Australia where the Bondi Beach attack recently happened, which was the assassination of the Jews while they were celebrating Hanukkah by an Islamic mass shooter. And so they're here on the podcast just talking about the difference in cultures, Christians, Muslims, Islam, in the Middle East and Western, countries, what they're dealing with over in Australia.
Someone said before, the sword of Muhammad hangs over the head of the preacher. This is really the picture. The sword of Muhammad hangs over the head of the preacher. You talk about Muhammad, I'll come after you. And we're really putting our life in danger right now. Muslims listening, they're really going to try. They're really going to try to come after us.
Yeah.
And I try to talk to them and their sword is picked up. Same as the left, right? They couldn't speak up to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, the martyr, the man of God, the hero, the courageous man. All he did was debate with the left. All he did was debate. All he said was, hey, let's talk. This is the marketplace of ideas. Let's debate ideas. And we as Christians believe in the marketplace of ideas, but the left don't and Muslims don't. The left, when they can't debate you, they shoot you. That's what they did to Charlie Kirk. Cowards, they're cowards and they're unintellectual. They have no reason or fact. Same as the Muslims. When they don't know what to do, they just kill you. They just come after you. Both left and Muslims can't debate a Christian.
Can the two coexist?
Islam and Christianity, it is incompatible with the West. Islam is incompatible with the West.
Then how do you disagree with Randy Fine and what he's saying?
Randy,
if it's the fellow that tweeted this,
that's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with. I'm not sure about the application. What way? What process? Are we going to do it over 10 years? Are we going to do it over 20 years?
Yes.
His idea is 100% right. Islam is incompatible with the West. What out of Islam is compatible with us? The child marriage. Like Muhammad marrying a 6-year-old and raping her and sleeping with her at 9? Like,
what about the treatment of women? It's mesmerizing to me. With the whole Zahran Mamdani, you jump on social media and there's a bunch of, young 20-year-old girls being like, oh, Sharia law, Zahran Mamdani, can't wait to vote him in, can't wait for Sharia law. You have a bunch of feminists that are pro-Islam. It's the most oxymoronic. They're walking contradictions because I'm like,
Islam is not compatible with the West. In fact, they use our freedoms and our tolerance and our freedom of religion and our patience. They use our system against us to try, the goal of Islam is to conquer. And so as far as what she's talking about in New York City about the girls wanting, Sharia law and being excited about Mandami. Look, I mean, during a political campaign, you can get anyone to endorse anything for the right price. You see this all the time with Hollywood, people just endorsing, different ideologies and different, causes just based on, most likely they're compensated for that, right? It's a form of acting. They don't really want that. They wouldn't want to abide by that in their own life. As far as young women, they wouldn't want, especially in New York City, they wouldn't want to be wearing hijabs head to toe and be covered and have no rights. They can't work, they can't drive, they can't leave the house without their husband or a male family member. Absolutely not. Women wouldn't want that. So any woman that's saying that she would want that, it's not feminism. It's just, she's most likely it's a campaign ad.
You know how women are treated under Islam? Did you know that the Quran, it commands Muslim men to, if they even fear disobedience from their wives, they are commanded to beat her. It's interesting that Aisha, it's recorded in the Hadith, Aisha saw a woman who had been beaten so badly that her skin was green. And Aisha, the favorite wife of Muhammad, she herself said, why is it, she said this to Muhammad, she said, why is it that the women of our faith are treated worse than any other woman on the earth? She said their skin is greener than their clothes. And you know what happened? What Muhammad did? He punishes the woman for being a bad wife. Many women, these feminists that are pro-Islam, I'm like, did you know that in Muslim countries that there has to be 4 male witnesses, not 4 witnesses, 4 male witnesses if a woman is accusing a man of rape. So there has to be 4 male witnesses, which there is a study that came out.
What do you mean 4 male witnesses?
4 male witnesses to the rape.
A woman
in order to
accuses
provide
a man,
evidence.
So she says he raped me.
Yep.
She has to have 4 witnesses that witnessed
Not
the man.
witnesses, male witnesses.
Male witnesses that witnessed
Yep.
her being raped by that one man.
Yes.
Can
And
you verify that?
So there was
That's under Sharia law.
The requirement for 4 male witnesses in Islamic law applies to consensual extramarital sex, not to the non-consensual crime of rape. Rape is considered a severe crime in Islam, and if it's proved, does not necessarily
No,
require.
a study came out that as many of half of women who go to court and say they've been raped in Pakistan, half of these women, not only do they not get justice, they get charged with adultery. They themselves get charged with adultery. So they can say that all they want.
Women are the most oppressed people
So I'm like,
in
to you,
Islam.
to you Me Too movement, to you feminists, I'm like, you really want Sharia law?
No, they don't want Sharia law. She probably knows this. Maybe she doesn't, and this is just her communication style. Feminists and the left and liberal women, it's not that they want Sharia law, and it's not that they truly support Islam. They hate Christianity. And so the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? If you think about it, you got the Democrats and the Republicans, and it's a power struggle for power and money and influence and control and who dictates policy in America. And so the right, the Republicans who tend to win elections based on fiscal responsibility and the economy and just being kind of the adult in the room, the foundation of that party is conservative Christians or evangelicals or Christians in general. So the enemy of my enemy, if you're a left-leaning feminist woman and you believe in abortion and you believe in feminism and you believe in LGBTQ, you're, in order to get your agenda, you have to defeat Republicans. And the base of Republican Party is evangelical Christians and Christians in general, conservative Christians. That's why the Republican Party is called Conservative Party. And so, they say they love Islam or want Islam, or they usher it in or welcome it in because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They and the Democratic Party can't seem to defeat the Republicans to the extent that they need to truly get their agenda ushered in. And so they need the help of Islam, really. In their mind, they'll deal with that later, right? They'll deal with Islam later. First, we have to beat the Christians. We haven't been able to overcome Christianity, and they hate Christianity. It's antithetical to everything that they believe in, and that abortion, gay rights, LGBTQ agenda, fiscal irresponsibility, just spend, addicted to spending, spend yourself into debt, and just, and I guess that's even both parties to a certain extent, but, it's they need to find a way to defeat their political opponents, and so that's what that really boils down to. They don't really truly want Sharia law. Feminists, feminism, women, modern women, they don't want to be head to toe covered in hijabs and not able to drive or work or leave the house without a male companion, like a husband or a male family member. That's what it's like in Islam. In Saudi Arabia, women have no rights. Like, of course they don't want that, but they'll deal with that later. They need to defeat their political opponent.
Your witness is worth half that of a man's, and Muhammad said in the hadith, it says it's because of the deficiency of the woman's mind. So this is just oxymoronic. They're a walking contradiction.
Islam, by the way, oppresses women. It is the people I feel sorry for in Islam are not the men.
It's the women.
They're jihadis. I care about the woman. The woman, I feel, my heart breaks for them.
Yeah.
There's some women, obviously, who really send their kids to bomb themselves, but my heart breaks for the women. Women in Islam, they have to cover themselves. It is oppression. Why? They tempt the man. In Afghanistan, you can look it up in 2023. In Afghanistan, they passed a law. That the men said to the government, hey, I know the woman is covering her head. She's still tempting me. Can you cover her face? So they cover their face.
The Taliban.
Then the Taliban in 2023, the Taliban, the men go up to the government and say, hey, the woman is still tempting us. How are they tempting you? Their head is covered and their face is covered. What is tempting you now? Her hijab? No, her voice is tempting me. Her
when
voice.
She sings.
So in 2023, the Taliban passed a law. Women are no longer allowed to sing, speak, or laugh in public. Look it up. Afghanistan?
You got to be kidding me. As of 2023,
Has banned.
the Taliban has banned women from singing, speaking loudly, or laughing in public. These restrictions are part of a broader set of vice and virtue laws that aim to erase women from public life.
Why? Because it tempts me. You're an animal. You are an.
Talk about cancel culture, right? I mean, the height of cancel culture is Islam. They literally cancel women, like wholesale cancel them, cover them head to toe. They disallow them from singing, speaking, laughing in public. Like they are commanded by Quran to beat their wife if she gets out of line. They effectively cancel women and abuse and control and dominate women, much in the same way that they seek to abuse and control and dominate Western societies. It's what's happening in England right now. It's what these pastors are talking about, the struggle that's going on in Australia right now. And we're seeing elements of this in America right now. We've got our first socialist Muslim mayor of New York City. 24 years after 9/11, really? And then Dearborn, Michigan, and then pockets in Texas. Like the Muslim culture it's rising up quietly and quickly. And so this is kind of, why this topic, I'm finding this interesting to just learn more about it.
Animal. It's like an animalistic culture. I have a dog at home. And when I want to leave my food on the table, I leave my food on the table. I tell my wife, Milik, I'll leave my food on the table. Can I leave it overnight? She tells me no. I'm like, why?
She can't control herself.
I'm like, why? She says a dog will get it.
She'll eat it.
I'm like, tell the dog to control himself. That little chihuahua, tell her to control herself. She says she can't control himself. She's an animal. When she sees a chicken, she has to eat that chicken. And it's kind of same as Islam. Islam is an animalistic culture. The man can't control himself, so he covers her head. He still can't control himself, so he covers his face. He still can't control himself. So they tell her, shut up, stop speaking, stop singing, stop laughing. What's next? You want to just kill the woman? You want to just get rid of the woman? Like you may as well do that. And this is the beauty of Jesus Christ. What does Jesus say? He says, if you look at a woman with lust, you have already committed adultery in your heart. Jesus says, turn the other way. Don't look at a woman with lust.
See, this is the problem. We also have this in Western culture, this problem of what he's talking about is personal responsibility and the choices that we make, right? Islam wants to essentially cancel women, right? Covering them head to toe. You can't see them, restricting their ability to talk, laugh, speak, sing. They're essentially walking ghosts, right? You can't see them, you can't hear them. They're nothing. They're meaningless. They're useless. the Holy Quran calls Muslims to beat their wife if she gets out of line. It's complete control, domination, and abuse. And he's saying basically like, they can't control themselves, so they have to, but you have self-control. It's in Christianity, self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self-control. And so, he's saying basically they have no self-control. They have no sense of personal responsibility, and they can't make the right choices. He's saying it's an animalistic culture. And so it's almost like a caveman culture, really, just like, back in caveman times, they always joke around like in caveman times, like the caveman just used to go out and club the woman over the head and drag her back to the cave. And, it's just like kind of cartoonish, like how we think about that. But it's animalistic, right? They have there's no civility. There's no self-control. There's no kindness. There's no gentleness. There's no civility, which is also the challenge with trying to integrate such large numbers of these Muslims and this faith into Western society, because we're a society that's very liberal and very open and personal responsibility and make your choices and independence, and women have a lot of freedom in our culture. Freedom to frankly, in Western culture, women dress very provocatively. With this type of an influence, this type of a culture, women would be just getting raped basically by these Muslim men, and in Sharia court, this is why they put such an emphasis on Sharia law, because in Sharia court would say, yeah, it's the woman's fault. She dressed like that. She should have covered up. It's her fault. So Sharia law is a huge, very important dynamic of Islam in terms of why they need to dominate a culture, because they need the court system or the law to see it their way.
Jesus says we must honor women. In Christianity, we view women as made in the image of God. Every woman I see, whether Christian, Muslim, atheist, or a prostitute, if I see a prostitute in the street naked, I would turn my eyes the other way. Why? She was made in the image of God.
Yeah.
God loves that woman.
Yeah.
God honors that woman. I don't honor her because she honors herself. I honor her because God loves her. I honor, that's the doctrine of Imago Dei. Imago Dei, the Latin phrase for image of God. Whether you like it or not, every woman was created in the image of God. Whether on a porn site, on OnlyFans, she was created in the image of God, and that's the beauty of Jesus Christ. He doesn't blame the woman, he blames the man.
Yeah.
And rape cases, by the way, there was a Muslim imam, what's his name? Zakir something, this crazy Muslim imam.
He justifies. If you look up,
Yeah, let's look him up. Yeah, let's Google
if you look
that.
up
It should come up.
Indian Islam
Zakir,
imam,
right? Zakir something.
that's what it is. It's Zakir.
Images?
Yeah, that's
that's
him.
him, images.
Zakir Naik. If you look up,
I saw this.
justifies.
Yeah, a young girl asks him, what happens to women when, is that what you're talking about? Or
Yeah.
no?
So, justifying rape.
And he
Type his
says,
name, Rob, and
I
put
know
it
what you're
on
talking
YouTube.
about, yeah.
Put it in YouTube
there's
and
lots
say
of videos
justifying
of
rape.
him. Lots of videos.
What does he say about justifying rape?
Oh.
He says you have to look at what the woman was wearing. If she's dressing immodestly, then who's to blame? Then the woman is to blame because she's not been following Allah.
It's on my Instagram, actually.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the one.
Hypothetically, if he rapes and he murders a girl, and if the court of law in this country or in this world cannot prove him wrong, and he goes scot-free. Later on, he realizes his mistake and he truly repents. And he knows that Allah is Rahman Rahim. And if he truly repents, Allah will forgive. His question is, then will that be justice to the girl who has been raped and killed? Now, first you have to understand that Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Mulk, it is Allah who has created death and life to test which of you is good indeed. So this life is a test for the hereafter. We are being tested. So Allah tests different people in different ways. There are 5 criteria required for forgiveness. Number 1 is you admit what you have done is wrong. Number 2, see to it that you stop it immediately. Number 3, see to it that you don't do it again. Number 4 is that you ask forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If all these criteria are fulfilled, inshallah, Allah will forgive you. Even if you have committed rape, which is a major sin, and if you have committed murder, it's a major sin. But if you truly repent, Allah will forgive you. As we know, Allah is Rahman Rahim.
For more,
Wait, go to my
It's not the one.
Instagram. Go to my Instagram. Go Martin Cedra Instagram.
That's the guy, but it's wrong. He basically puts it on what she was wearing.
Go down. Down. A little bit more. Oh, this guy's crazy. He is He's crazy. What he
He's
said.
huge, by the way. He fills stadiums. This man.
Go down.
He's a very famous imam.
Go down. Down more. Down a little bit more.
Yeah, it's
A little bit more. Nearly there. Nearly there. There.
That's it.
On the left, bottom left there. Yeah. No. Up.
Right. Right one. Right one.
No.
Yeah, right there.
No. Yeah, that one.
Dress up modestly, she is dressed up
That's
immorally, which people get excited and the rape is done. Who's to blame? It is the girl to blame. If she wore obscene clothes because of which the rape took place, then she is responsible. For the girl, was she following the advice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by wearing appropriate clothes or not? If she was not, then she is to blame to attract the men.
Muslim men can't control their
animal.
eyes, so they
You
cover
can
the
pause.
woman's head. This is crazy. This is unbelievable. In Islam, by the way, you know, in Islam, they're allowed to have non-Muslim sex slaves. So they can't have a sex slave that's a Muslim. But if that's what your right hand possesses, right? You can sleep with your wife or what your right hand possesses. You're allowed to have a non-Muslim sex slave. Why? The Quran calls non-Muslims apes and pigs. So Hitler called the Jews rats, right? Hitler put propaganda up all across the walls that the Jews are rats. So he dehumanized the Jews in the nation's eyes. So when they went to kill the Jews, it was easier to kill the Jews. Why? The Jews are not humans, they're rats. He dehumanized them. Same as Muhammad. Muhammad dehumanizes infidels, Christians, Jews, atheists. He calls us not rats. He's a bit nicer. I'm an ape and a pig. And as an ape and a pig, what's wrong with killing him? As an ape and a pig, what's wrong with raping them? As an ape and a pig, what's wrong with beheading that guy? What's wrong with stabbing Bishop Maramari? What's wrong with killing 15 Jews? What's wrong with terror attacks? They're apes and pigs. We got to kill them anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why October 7th was very justified for them. October 7th, there was a Muslim man who literally killed 10 Jews, and he calls his mom. There was a WhatsApp video, audio. He calls his dad and mom and says, "Dad, Mom, I killed 10 Jews. Praise God, Allah, Allahu Akbar." And they're praising him. They're like, "Good job, son. You did amazing." I'm like, wow, this is like, to kill an infidel is like the greatest heroic
Rob, can
thing
you
to
find
do.
that, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
يهودية قتلتها وقتلت جوزها عطوا بيدي وقتلت عشرة يابا عشرة بيدي قتلت
Arabic?
I understand. I'll translate. Don't worry. It's for the majority of Arab speakers here. Okay. This is a Palestinian, not affiliated with Hamas, according to what he says, just a citizen. And he's saying, "Dad, Allahu Akbar, I just killed 10 Jews. I have their blood on my hand. I stole her phone. I'm speaking with you from her phone."
They're celebrating.
And the parents celebrate. The parents say, "Well done," in
Is that
Arabic.
it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never seen this. Ken,
بكلمك من جوا ما بيصير افتح الواتس تبع بالاوام شوف كيف قتل
Photos. He's sending photos.
قتلك بايدي يابا ابنك قتل يهود الله اكبر الله اكبر ربنا يحميك يا رب ربنا يحميك يابا ربنا يحميك يابا بكلمك من جوال يهودية قتلتها وقتلت جوزها الله اكبر الله اكبر لله الحمد الله اكبر
Saying God is greater.
يابا افتح الواتس شوف كيف قتلت يابا الو
Islam for everyone listening.
can you go to the chat, Rob, to see if anybody questioned Grok, to see what day
evil.
this is? Go a little bit lower. I'm sure somebody did Grok.
pure
This
evil.
is, I'm older than your state. Keep going down. See if you find Grok if anybody asked.
By the way, in that recording, he doesn't say anything about "I killed those Jews" or "I killed that family" because of a resistance, right? That's what we keep hearing, air quote, the Palestinians and Hamas. It was a resistance against Israel's occupation of the West Bank or of Gaza. He's just celebrating that he did it because that's his faith, that's his belief that they should kill infidels or anyone who's not bending the knee to Islam, right? So it has nothing to do with politics, and he's not talking about anything about, resisting occupation or anything of that nature. So
There's no Grok, what it says. Yeah. You keep doing it and look for it. But to me, that's nasty on what they celebrate and how they view it. But,
Yep.
the other side will come and say, well, look at the stuff that Netanyahu did. Look what Bibi is doing. Look what they're doing right now. And they allow this. If they're so great, why did they let it open up? And anyways, all these conversations, these debates, we've seen plenty of them that has taken place.
Yep.
The reality of it is, if they're not compatible, just stay in your country.
Yeah.
Don't leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what the West need to understand about Islam. Islam is not a religion, it's a political movement. They are here to establish Sharia law. In fact, in the first 100 years after Muhammad's death, they had conquered 50 to 60% of the Christian world. Islam is not a religion, they are expansive. The two religions that are expansive, Pat, is not Hinduism, it's not Judaism. The two religions that are expansive is Christianity and Islam. In Christianity, we're expansive. We want to preach to the whole world. Jesus, before he ascended to heaven, he said, go into all the world, preach the gospel, make disciples and baptize them. We want to save people. The second religion that's expansive is Islam. But their way of expansion is not like us. It's not baptize, disciple, and preach the truth. Their way of expansion is to establish Sharia law. They go in countries that are Christians and that's why, by the way, if you ever notice all the Muslim immigrants, they never move to a Muslim country. There's 54 Muslim states, but for some reason, no Muslim immigrants ever move there. They always move to the West. Why? The West is Christian. I got to take that country. I got to conquer that country. And that's what they want. They want Sharia law. And for all my listeners not knowing what Sharia law is, Sharia law is simply the Islamic divine law. You can view it that way. Sharia law is their Islamic divine law. If you want to view it, we have our 10 commandments. They have their Sharia law. And under Sharia law, when people say, I love Sharia law, or maybe let's bring Sharia law to Texas, let's bring Sharia law to Michigan. How beautiful Sharia law. Under Sharia law, apostates are killed. If you leave Islam, you die. Under Sharia law, homosexuals are thrown off buildings. Under Sharia law, trans are stoned to death. Under Sharia law, husbands can beat their wives up. Under Sharia law, you can marry a 6-year-old. Under Sharia law, you will die if you critique or speak against Muhammad. That is Sharia law. Under Sharia law, gamblers and drinkers are whipped. Under Sharia law, adulterers are killed. That's Sharia law.
And the freedom of speech.
Sharia law is what they're describing is it's barbaric, it's savage, it's ruthless, and at its core, it's evil.
That's Sharia. You really want Sharia law? No, I don't want Sharia law. I would prefer Jesus Christ. And this is the thing. I always tell people, let's compare Jesus versus Muhammad. Let's compare Muhammad versus Jesus for a second. Muhammad said, kill the infidel. Jesus said, love your enemies. Muhammad, before he died, said, may Allah curse the Jews and the Christians. Jesus, before he died, said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. Muhammad started 84 raids and wars in his lifetime. Jesus didn't start any wars in his lifetime. Muhammad had 11 wives, and raped slaves. Jesus honored women and covered them. Muhammad married a 6-year-old, slept with her at 9. Jesus protected children. He said, let the young children come unto me. Muhammad, the woman caught in adultery, stoned her to death. What did Jesus do with the woman caught in adultery? He said, neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. Muhammad is completely different to Jesus. Muhammad tells men and husbands that you can beat your wife up. What does Jesus say in Ephesians 5? Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Jesus versus Muhammad, just compare them for a moment. Compare the founder of Christianity versus the founder of Islam, and you decide what religion you want to follow. And for all my atheists, you got to pick. You got to really pick. The more evil you see, the more you realize if evil exists, good must exist. If the devil exists, there must be a God out there, there must be good out there, and the question is, who is it?
And I think the greatest litmus test to know what standard of morality do you want as the basis of the nation, the litmus test is very simple, as you said. What country do you want to live in? If you want an atheistic standard of morality, okay, go to China. Like, go to North Korea. If you think this idea of humanity, that we're just cosmic accidents and there's no inherent value because we're a bunch of cosmic accidents, we weren't created by a divine creator, we weren't created by him, then okay, go to these countries that believe that, where we see millions of people that died under Stalin, under Mao. Okay, go live there. If you truly, it's so strange.
And North Korea is a brutal tyranny and dictatorship where they enslave their people, and it's one of the most brutal dictatorships on planet Earth. These are not countries you want to be. You do not want to be in an atheist country. An atheist country is maybe even worse than Islam in a Muslim country, right? I mean, it's complete, godlessness, complete lawlessness. There is no morality at all. I mean, Islam is savage and brutal, but they have some sense of family dynamic and and some code of morality, even though it's savage and barbaric. The atheists are just godless, lawless, empty people. They're black holes.
Seeing Christians in popular podcasts and media dancing with Sharia law. I'm like, okay, this is a litmus test. If you truly want to sympathize with Sharia law and you think it's going to be better as the basis of morality for the nation, better than Christianity, then go live under Sharia law. But you don't want to live there. And you see Muslims all the time. They get interviewed in America. I see so many videos of people on the street asking them, do you want Sharia law in America? They're like, yes. Well, do you want to move to Afghanistan then? Do you want to go back? No. They want to live in America.
Yeah.
Why? It's not because of the beaches. You don't come to America because of the resources and because you come here because it's blessed by God and it has a foundation of Christianity. That's why it's blessed. It's freedom. It's free. And so to all the atheists, for example, like we have, a lot of people say, well, why can't we just have secularism? Why not secularism where everybody gets to decide? Moral relativism. You get to decide what is moral. You can think it's okay to murder babies and I can think that that's murder. You can think abortion is healthcare. I can think it's murder. Why not that? Secularism is not a standard of morality, it's the absence of a standard of morality. It leaves a moral vacuum. And when we have that, which is what we're seeing, and I believe that's why we're seeing Islam rise in the nation of America, is because we've had a moral vacuum where we've thrown the Bible out of politics. We've said, okay, let's just, moral relativism, everybody can decide. Well, that leaves a moral vacuum, and Islam will happily take the place. And Christians have been saying, oh, we won't get involved in politics. That's why you've got Zohran Mamdani. The Muslims are very happy to get involved in politics.
Well, I think that's where we could finish this podcast because that's the choice the audience got to make.
Yep.
They got to decide what direction they want to go to. And, there's a lot of guys out there that are strong, apologetics or, they're going out there, non-denominational. They're preaching, the Bible and the Word. But very few power couples. You guys are a power couple.
Oh, we
very
appreciate
impressive.
It. Thank
Good
you.
for you
Oh,
guys.
we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
It's. I knew you.
And it's an interesting podcast. Again, it's called PBD Podcast. Patrick Bet David. He has an amazing story. His parents fled Iran when he was, I believe, 8 or 9 years old. Pat grew up in a refugee camp in Germany. And then his parents migrated across the world to California. His parents were twice divorced, so he had a lot of adversity in his life growing up. He served in the U.S. military in the 101st Airborne Division of the U.S. Army. Respect that. And after that, he started a company in America right around, I think he was in his early 30s, called PHP Agency. People helping people, so life insurance, health insurance, annuities, and went on to sell that company for $250 million. So he was wildly successful in the business world, in the insurance industry. And now he's a minority owner of the New York Yankees, maybe the greatest sports franchise in the history of the world. Has his hands in running multiple businesses, including his consulting firm, Bet David Consulting. He has a tech app called Minect, where you can reach out to him directly, for advice and for consultations. But check out the podcast, PBD Podcast. It's very interesting stuff. They cover a lot of very, very interesting topics. And I'll catch you on the next recording. Take care, guys.